Hello people, I'm Jaby Koay, joined by Achara Kirk.
Hello.
A video...
Hello. Hello. It's me. Hi there.
I got a funny feeling. I got a funny feeling. Yeah.
A video was recommended to me by YouTube, by Indy Rossi, and it was a reaction to the most expensive house in the world, and I'm like, all right, well, maybe I should just check that out with you guys as a reaction video. So this is from Mr. Luxury, the YouTube channel. This video has 9.7 million views.
Wow.
121,000 upvotes, 16,000 down. And so something was triggering in this video for some people. Who knows why? We'll find out. Yeah. Sure. If you like this video that we're about to watch, then head over to Mr. Luxury's YouTube channel and consider giving him or her a subscribe and give the original video an upvote, please. There is a link to the video in the description below.
The most expensive home on the planet.
Wow.
In the inner city of Mumbai, India, not far from the poverty-stricken slums, on the renowned Altamont Road, stands ANTILIA, the most expensive home ever created. This home ascends 27 stories,
Did they
stretching
shoot Tenet here?
568
Yes.
feet high, granting the massive structure with
I think.
prime views of the Arabian Sea. In technical terms, the home is the second most expensive residential property in the world.
What's the first
Considering
most?
Buckingham Palace is worth around $5 billion US.
Goals.
However, Buckingham Palace is considered a crown property, whereas ANTILIA is a private residence.
Yeah.
And the most expensive private residential property at that.
How many people
with
live
some
there?
pricing estimates as high as $2 billion.
Scam 1993.
Even still, the list in which a
just joking,
residence
I'm just
is
joking.
preceded by Buckingham Palace pretty much guarantees that place is going to be over-the-top luxurious and is likely a house I'd love to move into. In this video, I'll take you on a virtual, informative tour of this ostentatious estate while
Virtually.
engaging all of 2 of your senses. In this massive home, there are several ceilings that are double or triple heighted, so the 27-floored skyscraper looks more like a 50 or 60-floored building. Can you imagine only being as tall as an ordinary 27-floor building? Laughable. On some of the lower floors, there is a multi-level car lot that can hold 168 vehicles,
For why?
including Mukesh's
Did they shoot
precious RS5
not James Bond, Mission
Maybach,
Impossible
a
there?
car for very important people. Somewhere in that car
parking
lot is
structure was
also
used
a
in Mission
car
Impossible.
service station.
Yeah.
Or one
But
like it.
if cars aren't your style, don't worry. The home also has 3 helipads placed on the roof.
Okay.
Few things say billionaire like more than 1 helipad on the roof.
Just
Both
one?
the private car lot and helipads are violations of residential bylaws in Mumbai, but from what we can tell, no one has forced the billionaire's hand to make any changes. Above the car lot, you'll find an extravagant lobby composed of 9 elevators. Further up is a 2-story recreation center with a lap pool, a gym, a juice bar, a dance studio, and a yoga studio. Floors like these are how Jeff Bezos transformed his I sell books body to his I sell what I want physique. As you continue to ascend, you will eventually run into
What?
a spa and a ballroom. The ballroom is adorned with multiple crystal chandeliers that cover 80% of the ceiling, leaving a shameful 20% exposed and unadorned. To capitalize on the entertainment focus areas of the home, there's a movie theater that sits 50 viewers. There are multiple balconies and terraces with luscious gardens hanging over the sleek facade along the home.
Wow.
The vegetation attached to the side
The
of the building
maintenance
are meant to
involved
I know.
in this must be
sunlight in order to keep
ridiculous.
the interior
Must keep a lot of people employed though.
Yeah.
Hopefully that touch
beautiful.
can put a dent in what must be a monstrous electricity bill.
Yeah.
As if all this luxury wasn't enough of an
Yeah, I'm not
escape
into
from the
this, though.
hot, busy streets of Mumbai. The home comes fitted with an ice room equipped
Ooh.
with a snow generator. Meant to mimic a winter wonderland, a creative addition rivaled only by the likes of Willy Wonka. The immaculate structure was designed by architects Perkins and Will out of Chicago, and the interior design was overseen by an Australian company called Lighton Holdings.
I'm not really
While
into
the
that particular
400,000
style.
square foot building is home to just 6, it's also meant to make room for a staff of 600 cooks, cleaners, and security personnel. So that makes the size of the mansion less accessible.
But it's also his office,
I
right?
double-checked that stat, by the way, and I can confirm.
It's just a
100
house.
staff per family member.
Yeah,
The
100
building
staff.
is named after a legendary island, also called the Isle of the Seven Cities. The tale of this island originates from an old Liberian legend in which bishops fleeing from the Muslim conquest of Hispania escaped to an island and created 7 settlements there. There's not much else on that fun fact, and no one seems to know why the owners of the home took to that fabled island. But that's the thing with being a billionaire. No one questions your decisions. Considering the unique shape of the skyscraper and the fact that its construction cost not 6, not 7, not 8, but 10 figures, it'd be a fair assumption to presume the design of the home is
that guy?
symbolic, or at least,
Just some
on
random stock
purpose.
footage.
And that assumption would be correct. This incredible structure was meticulously crafted with Hindi influence and generously laced with religious symbolism. Within the 27 stories, there are 6 sections of the home that are meant to reflect earth, water, fire, air, sound, and light.
Like
These
the
elements were placed
chakras?
from bottom to top as to mimic not Nickelodeon's Avatar, The Last Airbender.
I was gonna say,
Ascension to
it's
enlightenment.
Aang's building.
I
Throughout
said
legend,
the
there are 2
chakras.
recurring motifs: the sun and the lotus. These symbols are meant to represent rebirth. The materials used to stand for these themes include marble, crystal, and none other than mother of pearl.
Oh, wow.
There's a temple in the home in which the family of
Ooh.
6 goes to pray regularly. There are
How
many
convenient.
statues of Hindu deities throughout the home,
I love
including the
it.
Hindu god Ganesh,
That's beautiful.
revered as the remover of obstacles, and Shiva,
Yes.
the Hindu deity who destroys to make way for new creation. Along with religious themes and the motifs of lotus and sun, the house is said to have been inspired by the Atlantic Ocean. The owner of the $2 billion home is Mukesh Ambani, a petroleum titan, chairman of Reliance Industries and, surprise, surprise, the richest man in India. Mukesh is responsible for 1/5 of India's exports, which is
Wow.
absolutely outrageous considering India makes up for 1/3 of the Earth's population. Mukesh's father created a business that turned into the world's biggest producer of polyester fibers and yarns. Mukesh multiplied his inheritance many times over to become one of the richest men in all of Asia. For years, Mukesh was a member of the top 10 richest people in the world. And during one surge in India's stock market in 2007, he was believed to be the richest man on the planet. But as of recently, he sits comfortably at the 20th spot. Mukesh is worth $40.1 billion and is 61 years old. Did someone ask for a list of the richest people on the planet? Okay, here it is. Number 1, Jeff Bezos,
No longer.
Amazon. Number 2, Bill Gates, Microsoft. Number 3, Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway. Number 4, Bernard Arnault, Louis Vuitton. Number 5, Amancio Ortega, Zara. Number 6,
Lots of retail.
Carlos Slim Helou.
He's got hair on his ear.
Number 7, Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook. Number 8, Larry Ellison, Oracle.
Where's Musky
Number
Musk?
9, Larry Page,
Well, he's the
Alphabet,
number one now.
co-founder of Google. Number 10, Charles Koch.
He's what?
Koch Industries. Number 11,
Isn't that
David
Coach?
Koch. You guessed it, Koch Industries.
Cock.
Number 12,
I thought it was Coach.
Sergey Brin, Google. Number 13, Michael Bloomberg, Bloomberg. Number 14,
guy who ran for president.
Ma Huateng, Tencent Holdings. Number 15, Jim Walton, Walmart. Number 16, Rob Walton, Walmart.
Walmart.
Number 17, Alice Walton,
Walmart.
Walmart. Number 18, Steve Ballmer,
Microsoft.
Oh.
Number
He's the one who had,
19,
like, that episode.
Francois Bettencourt Myers.
If this
and
person
family,
has a hard
L'Oreal.
time
Number 20,
with words.
and our guy, Mukesh Ambani.
Okay.
We just love lists here at Mr. Luxury. As
Clearly.
you might have noticed from the list, Mukesh is one of only 2 individuals from Asia to earn a spot on the list.
Yeah.
Mumbai is the commercial capital of India and is also called the city that never sleeps because I guess they didn't know that slogan was already taken. This city is also home to the entertainment industry in India, so it's commonly known as Bollywood, yet another thing they ripped from the United States. While the city is home to
Rude.
the world's most expensive house, it's unfortunately also home to the world's largest slum. The popular film Slumdog Millionaire was set in Mumbai. The public reception.
I'm starting to understand why there's downvotes on the video. It's just the derogatory nature in which this video is conveying ideas.
Yeah.
$1 billion. But there is certainly warrant for any offense taken in this particular case, I must admit. While the house was built on the richest stripe of land in the city, it's hard to not notice the contrast in a city like Mumbai, with such depths of poverty just blocks away. Gyan Prakash told the New York Times in 2010 that the home is in a way reflective of how the rich are turning their faces away from the city. In Mumbai, 40% of children under the age of 5 are underweight. The gap between the rich and the poor is as stark and vast here as any other place in the world. Still, there are some that bring up the charitable acts of the Ambani family, which include the creation of a hospital, when discussing the moral responsibilities of the family, not to mention numbers of the philanthropic ventures, specifically by Nita Ambani, Mukesh's wife. Which is great and all, but no one is going to ignore the gargantuan mansion towering over the city, or any of Mukesh's indulgences other than the mansion. Years before the creation of ANTILIA, Mukesh bought his wife an Airbus for her birthday for $60 million. He had the passenger jumbo jet refitted with a living room, a bedroom, satellite TV, a sky bar, and a spa. Unlike most families worth billions, the Ambani family owns just the one home as opposed to the expected several around the globe. Initially, the family shared a house with Mukesh's mother and brothers. But after Mukesh's father passed away of a stroke, he decided to break the bank on the 400,000 square foot home. The children of Mukesh and Nita all studied at universities in the States. Isha, the eldest daughter, recently graduated from Yale. Her twin brother, Akash, and younger brother, Anant, both graduated from Brown University. Not that I'm in any position to judge Mukesh as a father, but it's nice to see he raised 3 Ivy Leaguers. That's pretty much all I've got on Antilia and the Ambani family. As always, I'm Mr. Luxury.
I think that was an informative video, and it was interesting. I just didn't like some of the verbiage he used to describe certain things. I think that it's just without reservation is what it comes down to. He's just speaking plainly from his perspective, what he feels.
Right. I don't know. The thing is, I couldn't quite place the tone because I found his tone to just sound very condescending overall, and so that kind of like slightly rubbed me the wrong way. But yeah, I mean, he covered a lot of very interesting information.
I mean, there was stuff there that I didn't know. If I hadn't seen this video, there are things there I wouldn't have known about, like his family, where his kids went to school, and like.
I mean, that's no surprise
where
though.
He places. No, but like the exact details, like I didn't know about that stuff.
No, for sure.
And he told me about it, so it was informative. I have to give him that. But I do understand some of the downvotes on the video, you know, given the way in which he conveyed certain information. Scam 2007, the sequel. No, I'm just joking, because he said that the 2007 stock market surge or something like that is
made him perhaps like the richest person at that time.
Yeah. Something he brought up in this video, again, he didn't convey it in the best of ways, but something he brought up in this video I did wonder about, and I was trying to figure out how to convey it myself, and the only way I can think of to express it is the Schindler Effect, because have you seen Schindler's List?
Yeah.
At the end of Schindler's List, there's a scene, after saving somewhere in the proximity of like 1,006 Jews, he realizes that he has wealth on him he could have sold in order to acquire more lives. More Jews he could have saved. It's this thing where he saved over 1,000 people and yet it wasn't enough. And he broke down in tears because he could have saved more people from persecution from the Nazis. I just wonder when I'm seeing all that wealth, like I'm split because I go, well, it's his fucking money. You know, he can do what he wants with his money. That being said though, it's like, okay, so where's that happy medium? Because while he can do what he wants with his money, and that includes buying a $60 million airplane and refitting it for his wife.
600 million, in fact, I thought.
600? I thought it was 60 million.
Oh, was it 60?
I don't think it was 600 million. I think it was 60 million.
You're probably right.
And he outfitted it to be like with couches and stuff, and a bathroom. A proper sized bathroom.
And a spa.
There's that. But on the other side, like the video is pointing out, like you have a lot of people who are in need. I look at just one of those grand structures of, let's say Ganesh, right?
Yeah.
And that's beautiful, and I get the merit and the spirit of the video, of the statue, right? But what if you had put the money that you put into that statue into the bellies of these starving children, or creating some sort of UBI for Indians, universal basic income, because I'm sure he has enough money that, like, let's say he took like half of his wealth and decided to distribute that to Indians. I mean, I don't know. It would seem to me that he might have a way to elevate like those in need around him, because it's like rising tides. What is it?
Rising tides
Raises all ships.
all ships or
Yeah,
boats
raises
or whatever.
all boats. It's so I feel like it's one of those things where he could help out more, but wasn't he the one who gave away like free internet also with Geo?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know everything about Ambani. I don't know everything that he's done right or wrong. I'm very limited in my knowledge of the dude. All I know is he's one of the wealthiest people in the world, and he's the wealthiest man in India, and he's got that house. And what I've gleaned from this video, like that's all I know about him, honestly. I don't know what he could do, if he could do more to help out, but like I look at that home and what it's in the middle of, and having been to India myself, I have sort of seen firsthand what the video is expressing. And you see the same thing in Los Angeles, by the way, where you walk and you see people who are clearly not wealthy, and then you walk a little further and you see like these like amazing structures and like these wealthy people. And it's strange to have a hodgepodge of both in the same area, and that's what Los Angeles is like, that's what New York is like. I think any major metropolitan city, you're gonna have that.
Yeah.
Los Angeles has a startling amount of homeless people, even more now because of the pandemic and all that. But like before pandemic, you had a lot of homeless people. You had a lot of people who were struggling as the gap between the upper and middle class has grown more and more with laws and loopholes and all that stuff and whatever. Yeah, it's just confusing. I mean, Ambani came from wealth though because of nepotism, right? But like, to me, if you work hard to have something, why shouldn't you be allowed to spend your money on whatever you want? Like, if you became a billionaire off the sweat of your own brow, or let's say your mom became a billionaire and then she set you up in the same business and you worked just as hard as your parents did, why shouldn't you be able to buy a luxury airplane for your spouse, your significant other? Why shouldn't you be able to, is the question. It's like, it's your money. You should be able to do whatever you want.
Sure. Is it excessive? Yes. I mean, a whole commercial size plane for yourself. Think about, how much fuel is required, how much pollution you're putting out into the atmosphere by just taking one flight. I mean, yeah, I guess there's a lot of responsibility, but I totally see your point as well, which is, yes, of course, you made that money. You should be able to spend it however you want, and also, like, may as well enjoy it while you're alive.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
It's a tough thing, that halfway point between, like, responsibility and enjoying life. It's hard.
And taking care of your kids and whatnot. Like, I think it's...
They seem taken care of.
I know, but, like, it's interesting that, like he pointed out, like, a lot of really uber rich people, they just have multiple homes, right? But here they just have like their one home for their family unit and everyone lives together. It's so wild to me because it's basically like a skyscraper, like you could fit so many people in there, and 6 people live there. I don't know if they must have live-in staff or something like that. Like there must be staff quarters so they can be at their beck and call all the time. But to have 600 staff for 6 people is like a heck of a lot. It feels just so opulent and cool at the same time too, to be able to be someone, like today we were going on a walk and there are lots of really beautiful houses around Jaby's neighborhood. I like to look at them and I go, wow, like how many bedrooms do you think are in there? Like that house looks really nice from the outside and that one's got a nice garden or whatever. But like imagine if you could just go like he did, like I want it built to look like this, and we'll have that amazing cinema. I loved the like laying down couches at the front for the little screening room. I thought that was so cool. A yoga room, like who needs a whole, like, I mean, I would love it, but like why? The gym, the pool, like, and the temple, I doubt they ever really leave their home. Like, why would they have to? Everything is there.
I mean, admittedly, when I was a little kid, that was actually a dream of mine, was to have a home like that. I loved going to my mom's office because I just was obsessed with like big buildings.
Yeah.
Like skyscraper buildings. And so, well, not that my mom works at a skyscraper. Like her building's not even that tall, but it's in Studio City, which is a wealthy area of Los Angeles. Yeah, I was always fascinated with the buildings. And so he's living out my dream of like having that kind of a structure to live in. Seeing his home It made me think of Land of the Dead with Dennis Hopper. It was written and directed by George Romero because, well, it's the video specifically that reminded me of Land of the Dead. It was the first zombie movie I think I properly watched. But the point of the film was, even post-apocalypse, what's left of humanity is living on this little island. There's still this structure that's been erected in the middle, this skyscraper where Dennis Hopper lives. And there's still classism even in a post-apocalyptic world. Even in a post-apocalyptic society, he has this huge building for himself while a bunch of people around are just like hoping for scraps of food and just trying to survive. I don't know why, like my brain went there. It was just like, that's the first thing I thought of. And just because it's so, like you said, opulent, it's so big. And the video's pointing out how, like, not that far away, you have people who are starving. That's a sad thing. It's a sad juxtaposition. I wonder if Ambani wears that, you know, as part of his heavy crown, like as the richest person in India. I wonder if that weighs on him, like trying to figure out how to give back to these people who, not give back, but like help out these people who are in need. That's gotta weigh on you at least a little bit. I know that kind of thing weighs on me, and I'm nowhere near his status. Like when the whole Black Lives Matter thing really became epic here because of George Floyd, I contributed to the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm nowhere near as wealthy as like any of these famous black actors or any producers in Hollywood who are worth millions and billions of dollars, whose contributions could be way more effective than my measly whatever. I wear that shit on my shoulder. I wear that like, oh my gosh, like I should give something. And I go, but how come those people aren't giving? Like sometimes I see this stuff like, when the pandemic hit, there was some kind of thing that they were talking about, like no child goes hungry or something in New York, because a lot of inner city children who don't come from wealthy families depend on public school lunches to eat. And so a program was initiated so that none of them have to starve. And I would see the fund of how much that accumulated, and I go, well, based on the fact that we have billionaires and millionaires in this country, I don't know why that fund is so small. It makes no sense to me. And so that just speaks to the mentality of someone who is living in such a high point in society, in the castle up high. It's like, maybe you can't see what's going on. And should I be angry about this or empathetic that you can't see what's happening down here on the ground floor? I don't know. It's a mix of feelings.
I mean, that's a whole other conversation that doesn't really have anything to do with this video.
It does, actually. No, it does. It totally does. Because that's what he was pointing out. And in the last third of the video, that's what that video became about.
To me, it seemed like he was just trying to, I don't know, do a bunch of filler. Because it has nothing to do with the most expensive house in the world, albeit it was interesting. Per your conversation, I'm just like, well, maybe what needs to happen is that, you know, the government gets involved and goes, oh, you're excessively wealthy. You need to give like 20% of your wealth to these, you know, funds that help the people. But then you'll have people on the other side going, well, why must you tell me what to do with my money? Rich people hate being taxed anyway. And so it's just kind of this circular loopy thing where rich people just don't want to give up their money. But it's like, it's all relative, right?
By the way, this is not a conversation limited to India and Ambani. I'm making this a global thing. Buckingham Palace, like, maybe sell off some of that Indian jewelry you stole.
Or maybe just return it.
I'm just saying, like, maybe find a way to get, because there's people on the outskirts of London who are suffering, who don't live great, wealthy lives. Because like the further out, I mean, you can speak to this better than I can, but the further out you go in London, it's a circle, right? The further out you go, the poorer the people get.
Not necessarily.
Well, that's what I saw. It's like when we took the train to, not you and me, but me and my friend, when we took the train to go see the Stonehenge, the further out you went in London, the worse it got.
It depends. It depends on some of the areas, because some of the areas like outside of central London can actually be quite nice, but yet some of them are like super rough.
Yeah.
So,
well, when I was on the train, I just noticed that it got progressively worse to the point that I started seeing chain link fences with like the barbed wiring
Depends
and like
on the
graffiti
direction.
and whatever. And then it's like, it was really, really bad. I'm like, oh my God, this looks pretty apocalyptic. And then suddenly it was clear and just grassy hills. So I was like, this is so weird. London is strange, just like that juxtaposition of like, I don't know, that was weird. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is there are people suffering in London too. There are people suffering everywhere in the world next to very wealthy people. It's odd that there isn't this sort of attempt at trying to help out those in need.
I don't think wealthy people become wealthy by being altruistic.
Sure, that's true.
It goes against the nature of the thing, because if they were giving away all their wealth, they wouldn't be wealthy.
No, you don't do all. You don't do all. you do 10%. That's it.
Well,
10%.
10% of his wife does these philanthropic things, which is great, but it's like when I went to the temple one time, the nun was like, when you go to the temple, you should always give something.
10%.
Yeah, but if I earn $1,000 and I give like $100 to the temple, but then a rich person who owns $1 billion gives $100 to the temple, it's the same amount. It's like the means are different. So if you have more means, then you should give more. Who knows how much of his wealth his wife is putting into philanthropic things, because while it's great and I think they should do that for sure, it may just be small change.
The thing to consider as well, because like you go, oh wow, they each have 100 servants, basically 100 people working for them. The thing that I'm also considering is they're employing each 100 people.
That's fine. Like, pay them well, take care of them so they can take care of their families and stuff. Like, okay, what are they doing?
Right.
Do you have someone?
No, you have someone.
Like
you have someone. You have someone. No, you have like that's the person that sits in that chair for me. Keeps the chair warm, so when I want to sit in it, it's already warm.
It's warm. There's someone
he's my chair
already
warmer.
sitting on the toilet for me all the time, so it's warm. If you've read The Boy, then you know.
We can go on and on about this.
Yeah.
You guys, thanks so much for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed some of that. Do let us know your feelings in the comments below. How did you feel about this video? Did you think that the language was a bit excessive or spot on? What are your feelings in general about Ambani? I'm Jaby Koay. This is
Achara Kirk.
Peace out.